Okay, we've come to that exciting part of Act 2 where it's time to prepare to get in front of the camera. First, I'll show you how to dial in my audio track so that all you have to do is press play on your computer and simply respond to Executive Blair's cues in the video, acting like I'm actually there in the room with you. Once that's done, take an hour or two to write your script, set up your teleprompter and studio, and film your clip. We highly recommend finding a friend or family member to help run your teleprompter, audio recorder, and camera so that you can just focus on being the star of the show. Sometimes wearing too many hats at once gets a little bit heavy. So have fun, and if you screw up your lines, don't worry. That's what editing is for. Let's jump on in.
All right, here we go. So in this video, we're going to get the scene ready so you can actually interact with it and shoot your own video to bring in. We're just setting the scene, setting the stage. But what we have here is a bunch of audio that is mixed Brad and myself. If we listen.
Didn't we meet in an elevator last week?
Yeah, that's right. I was thinking you looked familiar.
So what we want to do is bring in and out my own audio. So we open this up, and just like in Act 1, we're going to use our keyframes. We're going to add these in, and we're just going to lower down.
Hey, didn't we meet in an elevator last week?
Yeah.
Right, so again, we want to do that, and we find where I come back in.
Familiar?
There we go. Lower that shelf.
Last week?
And we don't want to cut it too close. And we also want to be careful we don't move accidentally this scene to keep the timing. So Control Z or whatever undo Command Z on your keyboard will be your best friend. There we go, that sounds natural. And we don't hear any of that. So this will be where you get to interact.
Last week? That's so funny. I walked off wishing I had more time to connect with you.
And now don't worry if it's not perfectly timed, because like I showed you here, we're going to be able to cut and clip and zoom in, which allows for a lot of creative license, so to speak, to help your timing. So we come back here.
That's so funny. I walked off wishing I had more time to connect with you. Now, I'm curious to know, how did you get into the line of work you're doing?
Well,
Great, so then we'll cut that out. I think this is... Great, and I say something here, so we'll just bring that back. And create the shelf. Bring that down.
Wow, that's so cool.
All right, so we have a wow, that's so cool that we can use later and fit that into an interesting spot. So we might want to just actually cut that out for now. So I'm just going to cut that clip. I'm going to zoom out, use my selection tool, and move that off the shot. And I'm just going to start compiling some of these spots to bring in later. We don't want to interrupt you when you're talking. So here it starts at 16 and ends at 146. So actually that's 1.5 minutes to talk. But if it goes longer, that's okay. So what we might want to do is actually even just move both of these back off the scene and just let you go. And when you finish and we put you in, then we can start timing the rest of this all in. But while we're all set up in the studio shooting in front of the camera, let's not forget to respond to the rest of this. So as this is going and you are interacting at the beginning,
Hey, didn't we meet in an elevator last week?
and going through that, going into your full spiel, And you'll also want to record while you've got your camera, lights, and everything set up, this part too. And having that so you can then interact.
Wow, this is so amazing. Where can I learn more about your work?
Oh yeah, you can go to my
Check us out
website.
at thegreatecourseadventure.com.
You know, I've got this big event coming up next month.
And interacting with that, finishing up.
All set up. Cheers.
And then end scene. Don't forget to cheers and enjoy your beverage at the end. But once we get to that point, you have all that properly recorded, then we can continue. So now we're prepared to shoot the scene. We'll get you in front of the green screen and start playing around with the camera and getting this. So let's talk about lighting a little bit. The lighting in the shot, as you see, it's coming from all angles. It's all this really colorful lighting behind, nice and bright. You never know in the foreground where there might be lights in a bar. So inside we actually get away with a lot with our lighting. But since you look also at what I've already shot and supplied you, you can see there's some light above, and it's pretty, it's, well, a little bit brighter on this side because you can see the natural shadow rolls off this way. And that's because I had a big soft box here, one above the head, just lightly kind of creating a little bit more of a wash, and another one a little further over here. And that just creates a nice kind of blend. I didn't want it to be too even because I wanted some natural shadows just to bring in some character for the shot. It's also not going to be as bright as a bright day, but we can also work with quite a bit in our Lumetri color. And then just try to do your best to interact with the scene. And using a teleprompter. Have fun exploring that. It's a really good way to clarify what you want to say and get to the point. And again, if you're going to be using a table, you want to look here. Okay, I'm 6'1" again, just understanding my height. It's here at my hip. You want to do something similar because we're not using the same studio and the same table space. This is going to be a little bit of a challenge to make that work for you. Doing your best to find a table and finding ways like books to lift it up. Any sort of flat surface will do, or skipping that completely and just standing on the other side of this table with your drink. But the challenge is there to attempt bringing yourself a little bit more into the world, into the scene between background and foreground is a really beautiful way to trick the eye and make this look even more realistic. So head on over to your studio, wherever that might be, turn on the camera, turn on the lights, and have some fun. Start exploring, experimenting, bringing the footage in, testing it out, seeing if the camera, again, is in the right angle for your sight lines. Where's the horizon here? The table kind of plays a little bit of that essence. Also the background. Seeing, does it look natural to your eye when you bring it in and start composing? Now, don't be afraid to explore and experiment. This is your learning experience. So have some fun, and we'll see you in the next lesson.